Good morning, students. We are continuing a revision of chapter 6 of class 10, that is life process, which is the first chapter of your biology. In our last video, we have completed our topic nutrition, in which we have studied about the process of digestion in human beings. Today we will study about respiration. Students, as we are studying about life process, so life process is included. A life process is completed through nutrition, respiration, circulation and excretion. Okay. So, after nutrition, why there is a need to study about respiration? Because in nutrition we take the food. Clear? And that food will give us energy in respiration. So, how this will give us energy in respiration? Let's study it in detail. So, students, first respiration. What is the meaning of respiration? Simply, respiration is called an energy giving process. It is called as an energy giving process. Means simply, in respiration we are taking oxygen. That oxygen helps in the breakdown of food. So which type of food? As we take different type of food, carbohydrate, protein, fat, etc. So here the glucose or carbohydrate type of food breaks into its simpler forms. So respiration is again divided into two types. One is aerobic respiration and another is anaerobic respiration. So in aerobic respiration, there is use of oxygen. Oxygen is used. So you can write the respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen is called aerobic respiration, and the respiration which takes place in the absence of oxygen. And we can say as aerobic respiration is normally takes place in higher organisms, whether it is plant or animal, higher organisms. And anaerobic respiration takes place in lower organisms, or we can say single celled organisms. Clear? The ATP produced during aerobic respiration, as we have studied that it is an energy giving process. So here the energy is formed in the form of ATP. So ATP formed is more, or we can say more ATP is formed. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. We can say as adenosine triphosphate is formed is more, means 38 ATP is formed during aerobic respiration, where the ATP is less. That means only 2 ATP is formed. Clear? So here complete oxidation of food occurs. As in aerobic respiration, the organism get oxygen. So there is a complete oxidation. Means when the food break in the presence of oxygen, that is called oxidation. So here complete oxidation occur. Complete oxidation of food occur. But here incomplete oxidation of food occur. As oxygen is less or no, so incomplete oxidation. So if the question comes in 3 marks, differentiate between aerobic and anaerobic respiration, we can say as aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, anaerobic respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. This type of respiration takes place in higher organisms, and this type means anaerobic respiration takes place in lower organisms or single celled organisms. The ATP formed during aerobic respiration is more, means 38 ATP is formed, whereas in anaerobic respiration the ATP formed is less. It means only 2 ATP is formed. The full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate, which is known as energy currency of the cell. So the energy is formed in the form of ATP both in aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and here the complete oxidation of food occurs, and here means in anaerobic respiration incomplete oxidation of food occurs. So let's see how the breakdown of glucose occurs in the presence, absence and lack of oxygen. So let's see the process of glycolysis. Next is the process of glycolysis. Glycolysis means when breakdown of glucose occurs into pyruvate in the cytoplasm. So simply glycolysis is the process of breakdown of glucose into pyruvate in the cell cytoplasm is called glycolysis. So during glycolysis, first glucose converted into pyruvate, which is a 3-carbon molecule source. Then that pyruvate is used by different organisms to get energy, then any byproducts. So let's see how this process means glycolysis occurs. First, glucose, whose chemical formula is C6H12O6, breaks down in cytoplasm to give pyruvate plus energy. Pyruvate plus energy. And that pyruvate contains 3 carbon molecules. How many carbon molecules? 3 carbon molecules. Here the glucose means carbon has 6 molecules. Here 6 carbon molecule. Glucose breaks into 3 carbon molecules, and after converting it into pyruvate, the pyruvate is again used by different organisms. Means in the presence of oxygen, which takes place in mitochondria. This is known as your powerhouse of the cell. So the presence of oxygen means breakdown of pyruvate in the presence of oxygen takes place in mitochondria, where the pyruvate is get converted into CO2 plus H2O plus energy. Here energy is released in the form of ATP. Means here complete oxidation occurs. Remember students one thing, when the product is carbon dioxide, water and energy, then it is called complete oxidation. If any other new substance is formed, that is called incomplete oxidation. So complete oxidation takes place in the presence of oxygen. Next we can see absence of oxygen. What happens if oxygen is absent? So absence of oxygen occurs in yeast. You know about yeast. Yeast is a fungus. So during the breakdown of pyruvate in the absence of oxygen in yeast, it gives ethanol, which is C2H5OH. Here in pyruvate you can see 3 carbon is present. Out of 3, 2 is used in producing ethanol or alcohol plus CO2. So here the number of carbon is 2 and here the number of carbon is 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Here the pyruvate contains 3 and here already we get 3. Then plus energy. No water is formed here. So here byproduct is formed, that is called ethanol or alcohol, whose chemical formula is C2H5OH. Then what happens? This process is also called fermentation. Means in beverages industries or in fermentation industries, what happens? The fruit juice are get converted into ethanol or alcohol by using the yeast. As the yeast respires anaerobically and converts the pyruvate into ethanol or alcohol, due to which wine or alcohol is formed. Next is your lack of oxygen. Here it means oxygen is available but not so much. That's why this is called lack of oxygen, and that occurs in muscle cells. In our muscle cells. So what happens? Here we get lactic acid plus energy. You can see we get only lactic acid plus energy, and the chemical formula of lactic acid is C3H6OH. You can compare the pyruvate content here 3 carbon and the lactic acid also contains 3 carbon. So the 3 carbon is already used in lactic acid. So what happens during anaerobic respiration in muscle cells or lack of oxygen, means when oxygen is not sufficient, then we feel cramp or strain in our muscles. Means if we do some exercise vigorously without taking rest, then the amount of oxygen needed by our body is not sufficient, due to which inside our muscle cells lactic acid is formed, and due to formation of lactic acid we feel cramp or strain in our muscles. Clear, students? So that's why during vigorous exercise or continuous exercise we need sufficient oxygen. So what happens if the question comes, so the breakdown of glucose by various pathways. Here I have showed you the breakdown of glucose by various pathways. So first, glucose get converted into pyruvate in the cytoplasm. Along with pyruvate, it gives energy in the form of ATP. Then that pyruvate is used by different organisms, means in the presence of oxygen, that takes place in the mitochondria, and it gives CO2, H2O plus energy. Energy is in the form of ATP. Next, in the absence of oxygen, that takes place in yeast, and the product is ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Next, lack of oxygen which takes place in the muscle cells, and that is formed lactic acid plus energy. And here the chemical formula of ethanol is C2H5OH, and the chemical formula of lactic acid is C3H6OH. So students, we can say as C3H6O3 is the formula of lactic acid. So here we can say that how different type of organisms respires aerobically, anaerobically. Anaerobically includes both absence and lack of oxygen and forms different type of substances. Again we can see here how the respiration rate is also different in different organisms. The rate of respiration in aquatic organisms is more faster than that of terrestrial organisms. Why this is happen, or why this is called? So the rate of respiration is more faster in aquatic organisms than the terrestrial organisms. Faster means quick. Suppose we are getting oxygen directly from the environment, whereas the aquatic organisms, means the organisms which are living in the water, are not get direct oxygen. They get the oxygen from the dissolved condition. That's why the amount of oxygen present in water is very less. So they have to collect the oxygen from dissolved form. That's why they have to respire first. Means the oxygen that present in water is not enough to fulfill the respiration. That's why they continuously respire. Means aquatic organism, suppose fish continuously swims and water goes into its mouth, and the gill slits present inside the mouth absorbs oxygen from water, and then the water is again released from the body. This process is continuously occur. But in case of terrestrial organism, we are not continuously respire. Suppose I am teaching here. So I continuously teaching you about respiration without taking rest, or without, if I lack oxygen, then I stand. This happens, and if I not take oxygen in regular interval, I must die. But this will not happen in case of terrestrial organisms or land organisms, as we are getting the free oxygen from air. But this will not happen in case of aquatic organisms, as they get their oxygen from the water. So if the question will come, this question is also in your in-text question, why the rate of respiration is maximum in aquatic organisms than that of terrestrial organisms, then your answer will be, as the oxygen is present in dissolved condition in the water, to fulfill the respiration demand, the aquatic organisms have to take the oxygen from the dissolved form. That's why they respire continuously, as it is in less amount. But in case of terrestrial organisms, means in case of human beings or other organisms, we do not respire continuously, because we get direct oxygen from the air. And while I am talking, then oxygen is going into my body through my nose and through my mouth, due to which I am able to fulfill the processes that takes place inside my body or the processes which is need oxygen. Clear, students? So here is the breakdown of glucose by various pathways and how different substances or forms are formed. Next we will study human respiratory system. Before we study about human respiratory system, here we need to know that why we respire. We respire to break our food, to break down our food and to get energy. So human respiration takes place through respiratory system. Human respiration takes place through respiratory system. As we are higher organisms, so we have a system to do every function of life process. That's why, like digestive system, in respiratory system there are some organs involved in. So what are the organs? First your nostril, then nasal passages, then pharynx, then your larynx, then trachea. Inside these rings of cartilage is present, rings of cartilage. Larynx, trachea, then your bronchi, then bronchioles, then alveoli, and of course lungs. So all the vertebrates, including human beings, have a pair of lungs for respiration. All the vertebrates, or it is the characteristic feature of all the vertebrates, that presence of lungs for respiration. So students, let's see how respiration occurs in human beings and what are the organs that are used in respiration. So if I draw the diagram, you can write the different parts. Then next, let's draw the diagram of human respiratory system. I will draw an easy diagram for your easy understanding. You can see here. This is nostril. This part is your pharynx, then larynx. Then the lungs is divided into two. One is left and one is right. This is lungs. You can see the diagram. This looks like a leaf. So students, this is the diagram of human respiratory system. This is called diaphragm. Let's level it. These are the alveoli. First, this is your nostril. This is nostril. Then this is nasal passage. Then this part is called pharynx. Then this part is called larynx, which is also called as voice box. Due to larynx, voice is produced, so it is called voice box. Then just below the voice box, here is the trachea. This is called trachea, or we can say as windpipe. It has many rings of cartilage, which is made up of cartilage bones. They are called as rings of cartilage. They are called as rings of cartilage. Here is the lungs. If I stand like this, then this is right lungs and this is left lungs. So this is right lungs and this is left lungs. Then here is the, you can see, this is called bronchus. Bronchus is the singular and bronchi is the plural. If I label these two, then I will write here bronchi. This is your bronchi. From bronchi, there is some bronchioles are arise. You can say these are the bronchioles. This is bronchiole. And from bronchiole, there is numerous or millions of alveoli are arise which are balloon-like structure. They are called as alveoli. Clear? This is called alveoli, and this part is a muscular structure that is called your diaphragm. And here, as we know, the lungs is a muscular structure, so it is protected by the rib cage. Here we can see the rib cage. This is called रीढ़ की पिंजरे की हड्डी. Rib cage. Cage means pinjra. So here the bones that protect our lungs is called as rib cage. So the linings you can see here I made are called as rib cage. So what happens? How the respiration occurs in human beings? First, the air is taken by the nostrils. These are two nostrils. A pair of nostrils are present in human beings. So nostrils take oxygen, and the oxygen is passed towards the nasal passage, and nasal passage is combined with the pharynx. Then it goes towards the larynx, which is called the voice box. Without air we can't produce sound. That's why, as in space there is no air is present, so in space we can't hear any sound and can produce any sound also. So that's why air is necessary. Air is necessary for producing voice or sound. Next, just below the pharynx, trachea is present. Trachea is called as windpipe, and it has rings of cartilage. So what is the function of rings of cartilage? During inhalation and exhalation. Students, inhalation means intake of oxygen. Inhalation. Inhalation means intake of oxygen. Intake of oxygen. Exhalation. Exhalation means outtake of carbon dioxide. Outtake of CO2, or we can say as inspiration and expiration. In biological term we can say as inspiration means inhalation where intake of oxygen occurs, and exhalation means expiration where releasing of carbon dioxide occurs. So during inhalation and exhalation, our trachea do not get collapsed due to presence of rings of cartilage. If rings of cartilage was not present in the trachea during continuous respiration, our trachea may be collapsed, means sikudna, chipakna. Clear? So here the rings of cartilage prevents the trachea from collapsing during inhalation and exhalation. Next, after reaching into the trachea, the air goes towards the lungs. So in lungs, it is collected by the bronchi. There is a pair of bronchi present in the lungs, and these bronchi supply the oxygen to the bronchioles. These are the small vein-like structure arise from bronchi, and these bronchioles contain millions of alveoli. Here students remember, alveoli is the smallest unit of respiration. Alveoli is the smallest unit of respiration. So the oxygen that entered through nostril at last reaches to the alveoli, and alveoli is also the last site for gaseous exchange. When the oxygen gets into the alveoli, then our chest cavity get expanded. Means when we inhale like this, then our chest cavity get expanded, and when we exhale like this, then our chest cavity fall up. So during the process of inhalation and exhalation, you can see there is a diaphragm, which is a muscular structure that present just below our lungs. It prevents or maintains the atmospheric pressure. Means during inhalation and exhalation, what happen? Our chest cavity get expanded and contracted, expanded and contracted. At that time, the diaphragm protects the lungs from collapsing, or we can say it maintains the atmospheric pressure. If this diaphragm was not present in our body, then what happened? Then we can't respire properly, due to which we may die. Suppose for example, if in any accident one person's diaphragm get damaged, then at very quick the person have to be put a diaphragm, artificial diaphragm, for its easy respiration. Clear students? So here, as I have told you, millions of alveoli is present, but only 1 to 2% are working. Out of million alveoli, only 1 to 2% were working. Rest of the alveoli are not working properly, due to which our lifespan is no much long. But before, means before 500 years, 1000 years ago, the people live more than 100 years or 200 years, because more is the alveoli, more is the intake of oxygen, and more is the oxygen, more smooth is our life process. So the alveoli are getting damaged or closed due to pollution. That's why only 1 to 2% of alveoli are able to receive oxygen. So we can say as alveoli is the smallest unit of respiration, and it is the last site for gaseous exchange. Here is the rib cage. As I have told you in my starting of the topic, that as our lungs is a muscular structure, so it needs extra protection. Means the rib cage is protect our lungs from external injury. Means when we fall off, then the rib cage protect our lungs, it will not damage. And between the two lungs there is presence of heart, which is slightly towards the right. Clear, students? So the heart get oxygen from the lungs by some capillaries. They are called as lung capillaries. We will learn it in next class. So first you can understand how respiration occurs in human beings. So respiration is an energy giving process, and this is completely different from breathing. Breathing is an external process, whereas respiration is an internal process. In breathing, here simply gaseous exchange occurs, whereas in respiration we get energy from the digested food. So first, in life process we studied about digestive system or nutrition, and after that we will study respiration, because after taking food we need energy, and that energy will come if we respire, mean if oxygen will go into our body. Clear, student? So this is all about your human respiratory system.